Hello everyone, my name is Rosabelle Angelica and I'm from Group 8. I will tell you guys about history about Borobudur Temple. Borobudur Temple is a magnificent Buddhist monument located in Central Java, Indonesia. It was built during 8th and 9th centuries by the Sailendra dynasty, a powerful kingdom that ruled Java at the time. Historians estimate that the construction of Borobudur was complete around 825 AD. The temple reflects the influence of Indian Gupta architecture combined with indigenous Javanese elements. Designed as a massive stone mandala, Borobudur was intended to represent the universe according to Buddhist cosmology. The temple is composed of 9-step platforms, including 6 square and 3 circular levels, topped by a large central dome. There are over 1,600 carved relief panels and 504 Buddha statues through the complex, making it one of the largest and most detailed Buddhist structures in the world. For centuries, Borobudur was forgotten and buried under layers of volcanic ash from Mount Merapi, as well as overgrown by jungle vegetation. It wasn't until 1840 that the temple was rediscovered by Sir Thomas Stamford Raffles, the British governor of Java. In the 19th century, restoration efforts were carried out by the Indonesian government and UNESCO, saving the temple from decay. In 1991, Borobudur was officially listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Okay, so next I will tell you guys about scenic description of Borobudur Temple, which is the view of the Borobudur Temple. Borobudur is not only rich in history, but also surrounded by the extraordinary natural beauty. The temple is situated on a hilltop in the Kedu Plain, providing a 390-degree panoramic view of the lush tropical landscape. Green rice fields stretch across the valley, while distant mountains and volcanoes such as Mount Merapi and Mount Merbabu rise in the background, creating a dramatic and awe-inspiring backdrop. One of the most magical moments at Borobudur is at sunrise. As the sun slowly rises behind the mountain, golden light pours over the temple's ancient stone structure, revealing its intricate carving and shadowy stupas through a layered morning mist. This peaceful and spiritual atmosphere draws visitors from around the world. From the upper level of the temple, you can enjoy a peaceful silence and a breathtaking view of nature that blends perfectly with the temple's sacred aura. The harmony between human craftsmanship and natural surroundings makes Borobudur not only a cultural wonder, but a serene destination for reflection and appreciation of the beauty. Okay, so from the text we know that Borobudur is one of the Indonesia historical temple, and the view is so pretty, especially when it's at sunrise. So you can enjoy the sunrise at Borobudur. Also, there's so many history about Borobudur Temple that we can know. Borobudur is the largest I think it's the largest temple in Indonesia or maybe in the world or Asia, and it's already verified by UNESCO. Okay, so that's all. Thank you everyone.
Hello everyone, my name is Siti Kurniasi from group 18. In this video, I will talk about the food vendors and traditional food sold around Borobudur Temple. If you love eating local, this is when traveling. This video is perfect for you. When you walk around Borobudur Temple, you'll notice many local vendors outside the temple area. They set up small food stalls and carts offering a variety of traditional snacks and drinks. Most of them are very friendly, always smiling and welcoming tourists warmly. Some even offer free samples if you're unsure what to try. One popular food is tempe mendoan, thinly sliced tempe, buttered and fried, served with spicy soy sauce. It's crispy on the outside, soft inside, and usually costs around 5,000 to 7,000 rupiah. The aroma is so tempting that many visitors stop just to try it. Another favorite is bakso or Indonesian meatball soup, served hot with noodles and fried onions. It's perfect after a long walk out the temple. A portion costs about 7,000 to 15,000 rupiah. And many vendors add chili sauce and sweet soy sauce if you like it spicy. You can also find chicken satay, grilled and charcoal, and served with peanut sauce. It smells amazing and tastes even better. Usually, thin sticks cost about 20,000 rupiah, and you can watch them grilling it fresh on the spot. For drinks, one of the best sellers is es dawet or es cendol, a cold and sweet beverage made from coconut milk, palm sugar, and green jelly. It's perfect to refresh your body after walk under the sun. The price is around 9,000 rupiah, and many vendors and ice cups to make it extra cool. Sometimes you might also find gudeg, a traditional dish from Yogyakarta made from young jackfruit. Cooked is coconut milk. It's not as common as other street food in Borobudur, but some vendors sell it, especially near the parking area of bus stop. It usually comes with rice, boiled egg, and spicy crispy, and costs around 15,000 to 20,000 rupiah. What makes the experience even better is the attitude of the vendors. Very patient and helpful, even if they don't speak English fluently. Many will smile, use hand gestures, or a little bahasa Indonesia to help your order. This friendly interaction is part of the makes visiting Borobudur so special. So, don't hesitate to explore the food stalls around Borobudur Temple. You'll not only enjoy the rich taste of Central Japanese cuisine, but also connect with the local culture and community. Thanks for watching.
Hello everyone, my name is Navita Ramadini. In this video, I'm going to explain about the government policy regarding Borobudur Temple in Yogyakarta, and also how the visitor respond and behave at the site. Borobudur Temple is one of Indonesia's most important and famous cultural heritage sites, and it has been recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. To protect its historical and spiritual value, the Indonesian government has introduced several policies focused on preservation and sustainability. One of the most important policies is limiting the number of visitors who are allowed to climb to the top of the temple. Only 1,200 people per day are allowed. This rule is meant to reduce physical wear and tear on the ancient stones caused by too many tourists walking on them. To go up, visitors must pay a special entrance fee and be accompanied by a licensed guide who will also provide historical and cultural explanation during the visit. This is not only for protection but also to educate visitors more deeply about the meaning of the temple. The government is also focusing on improving the facilities and managing the environment around Borobudur. They have started building special welcome paths, organize the flow of tourist traffic, and are encouraging the use of electric vehicles to reduce pollution. All of these are part of a green and sustainable tourist strategy which aims to protect the site of the long term. In addition, local communities around Borobudur are being involved in tourist through creative markets, cultural performance, and traditional craft. So, the tourism not only protects heritage but also supports the local economy. In general, the response for visitors has been mixed but mostly positive. Many tourists agree with the government policy, especially the limits on claiming the temple. They believe it necessary to preserve Borobudur for future generations and avoid the damage that can come from mass tourism. They also appreciate guided tours because they help them understand this history, symbolism, and religious meaning behind the temple. The cleaner and better organized environment is also something visitors notice and enjoy. However, some tourists feel disappointed mainly because the price to climb the temple is quite high and the access to the top is restricted. Some people also feel rushed due to the time limits placed on each group at the top. Even with this limitation, the number of visitors to Borobudur remains high, especially during school holidays, weekends, and religious celebrations like Vesak Day, when many Buddhists come to the temple for spiritual purposes. Borobudur continues to attract both local and international tourists, not only for its stunning architecture and scenery, but also for its deep culture and spiritual value. The hope is that all visitors can enjoy the site while also helping to protect it. So, that's my explanation about the government, police, and visitor behavior at Borobudur Temple. I hope this is information gives you clear picture of how important it is to balance tourist and privatization. Thank you.
Hello, in this video, I will tell you a little bit about the condition and facilities at Borobudur Temple. So stay tuned and enjoy the story. Borobudur Temple is one of the most famous historical sites in Indonesia. It is located in central Java and surrounded by green hills and beautiful nature. The area is peaceful and gives visitors a calm and spiritual feeling. When you first arrive at Borobudur, you will see a wide and clean area with friendly staff before reaching the temple. The air felt fresh and clean, especially in the morning. The temple itself is very large and built like a big pyramid. With many steps, you can walk around the temple and go up step by step. On very level, you can see amazing stone carving that tell stories from the life of Buddha. Visitors usually take their time to enjoy the view and take pictures. There are many facilities around Borobudur to support tourists. There is a visitor center where you can learn more about the history of the temple. There are also guides who speak different languages, and they can explain everything clearly. If you ever feel tired while walking around Borobudur Temple, don't worry. There are many shaded areas with big trees and benches where you can sit and rest for a while. This resting spot area clean and comfortable, making it easy for visitors to relax. You can also find public facilities like clean toilets and prayer rooms for those who want to pray. These are located in several areas, so you don't need to walk far. For elderly visitors or people with disabilities, there are special walking paths that are easier to use, and wheelchairs are available to borrow at the entrance. Around the temple area, you will also find small souvenir shops. These shops sell traditional craft, handmade gifts, and local snacks like sweet rice, cakes, and fried banana. The sellers are friendly and always greet you with a smile. The prices are also quite affordable, so you can bring something home without spending too much. Not far from the main temple, there is a small museum that shows interesting collection. You can see all photos, ancient stone, and objects that were found around the temple site. This museum helps visitors understand the history of Borobudur more clearly. When you feel hungry, don't worry. There are food stalls and a small restaurant in the area. Overall, Borobudur Temple is not just a beautiful historical place, but it is also very well organized and welcoming. It's a perfect spot to learn about Indonesians' read history, enjoy nature, and spend quality time with family or friends. I hope you get the chance to visit this amazing place one day. Thank you so much for watching this short story about Borobudur Temple. See you in the next video.